got two units that can do that. The Mettler is one as we interface the two units here, and then the Legend is the other one that's built in within the same unit, okay? So what you're basically doing in your thought processing is you're thinking about if you were treating this problem separately, what would my settings be? And then you're just putting them together, okay? It typically is for more localized problems like a muscle spasm, a trigger point, something like that.
Muscle spasm or trigger point.
Because my ultrasound head is going to be my active electrode. Okay? It's going to be delivering both my ultrasound and my E-stim. So I have this and a dispersive electrode, and that's all I have. If I don't have this on them, they're not going to fill the E-stim through here, but this is delivering both. Okay? So I think of the same thought processing, like I said, if they were separately. So let's kind of go over the setting of the machines, and then I'll demonstrate. What I need to do then is have, for my E-stim unit, one of the pads plugged into a dispersive pad. It needs to be at least twice the size of my ultrasound head. It can be bigger, but at least that. The other one is going to be plugged into the bottom of the ultrasound unit. Okay? Then it knows that's my second pad. If I'm using alternating current, it doesn't matter which I plug into either because it's changing polarities. I don't have a set polarity. And there isn't a reason I would be doing this for denervated muscle or iontose. So AC is going to be your choice. Okay? So let's say, I told Christina she keeps trying to work on her muscle spasms up in her neck. So I said, okay, that's what we're going to work on. The benefits of combo, and you'll see this when we do it, is I don't have to guess where that muscle spasm is and put my pad on it. This tells me in a heartbeat where it is, and I can direct my pressure there or my treatment there. The bad news is your ultrasound time is what's going to gauge your treatment, and typically ultrasound times are short, 5, 6 minutes, something like that. So is it actually long enough to fatigue my spasm or not? That's kind of the controversy. And some people say, wait a minute, the ultrasound's relaxing it, the E-stim is trying to fatigue it and work it. Are you fighting each other? Okay, so there's pros and cons. Don't get near my husband with this modality. He thinks that is the worst thing, you know, it's Satan personified. You can approach me anytime with this one. So, you know, there's a give and take as far as people either love it or hate it. It feels really good from the application of it because you feel really in charge. Oh, contract, contract, oh no, contract. You know, and so you get your fun time for that. Okay, so let's talk about the settings for the E-stim unit first. If I were just using my E-stim unit to treat a muscle spasm, got both units plugged in, turn it on, okay? I'm going to use continuous AC, right? I don't need surge, I don't need DC. Size of my muscle will have me choose which one I'm going to do, okay? So, medium size, which is one goal. Rate, what rate do I want? You want to fatigue it? You want above 80. 20 to 50 is tetanizing but not fatiguing. Okay? So this goes up to 83. So I'm going to turn my rate up to 83. Okay? From a time standpoint, the ultrasound time is going to be the main thing that's going to count. So I can just do timer bypass if I want, or I can set enough time that's at least as much as my ultrasound. When my ultrasound kicks off, it's not doing anything anymore. So either way works. I'll just do timer bypass. I'm not setting go or anything yet. Okay? For my ultrasound, turn it on. Let's just plug it here. Plugging it into that. So don't add any lubricant.
Sounds like we've passed it to you now.
Just allergies. Okay, so turn it on. There it goes. Okay, I want watts per square centimeter. I probably want it continuous. I want thermal because I'm working on a muscle spasm. The only reason I'm saying probably continuous is when I find that muscle spasm, I'm going to want to kind of stay there. So if it's a bonier area or I'm concerned about that, I've got potential for shearing because I'm going to be staying really localized in with that. So I might want to do pulsed. I just have to increase my intensity if I want to be thermal. But if you feel like you can move on around or it's not that bony, I'll stay with continuous.
If
Okay.
mid-treatment, can you change? Like if you had started and then you found that spot, do you just have to completely turn it off and reset your settings if you find it overwhelming?
Okay. From a time standpoint and base frequency and whatever, I make the same choices. So I'm going deep into the muscle, so I chose a 1 megahertz for the depth. It's not that big of an area, so I'm staying with a 5 squared centimeter sound head. Okay. And for that, I can treat maybe, depending on the size of my spasm. So let's say it's that size, so I can treat for 5 minutes. All right. I usually give myself a little bit more time because I've got to get both of them set and then treat for that time. So I might add a minute or something to it. Okay? When we get everything set up and get going, it doesn't matter if I start my ultrasound intensity or my E-stim intensity first. I do one and then the other. I personally tend to do the ultrasound intensity first because if I turn up the E-stim and they're feeling that buzz or whatever, it's harder for them to feel heat. Right? Because sometimes people feel that as a tingle or whatever. And so I usually do the ultrasound to make sure they're not feeling anything and then turn my stem up to go with it. But really, you could do either one. Okay? So I'm going to set this for 6 minutes. And then we'll be ready to go when we're ready to set up. Okay? So, Miss Christina, you just got that, but I'm going to swipe your stool.
Is there another one back there?
Okay.
Oh, there is.
Have a seat right there.
There's that little brown chair that's like the stool. A rolling one right there.
I'm going to toga you a little bit.
Okay.
Now let's do it the other way. You feel okay that way?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Now I'm going to set her up just as if I were doing the ultrasound. Give me a couple of pillows if you would too, please, Jessica. Okay, Lindsay's got those. Now I'm kind of palpating, and she's got a pretty good little spasm right up here. So I could do different positions, but we're going to have her kind of lean forward and get in the middle of everything. Okay. As you kind of lean forward, head can be turned to one side so you're not getting the bill. There you go. And if I'm coming on up into here, I'll want to put,
Sorry, you got the birthday.
oh, sorry. I would want to drape her hair or whatever, but I'm going to be more down here, so I'm not going to worry so much about that as we go. All right? So, I've got that handy. I have to put the ground on her. So I've wet my sponge, wet my gauze. This is going to be really cold. I'm really sorry. And I'm just going to, it's here. I'm going to put it cold right there. And I think that's probably in good enough. I like to, for women, stuck it in their bra strap or put it in the pants, you know, so it just kind of holds it there too if I'm doing up in this area. But I think that'll be in enough with her leaning forward and enough contact. I don't need to hold it down. It's got it kind of tight there.
Do you always go on the opposite side of the spine?
Doesn't matter. I just don't want to be antagonistic. So I could be on this side. That just felt a little tighter to hold it in place. Okay, I'm going to put some gel on. And again, if you're going to err on the side of too much, then not enough. It's going to be cold. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So again, putting it on with your hands, you might could warm it up a little bit. You could feel where that spasm is, kind of have an idea of what to start, whatever. Okay. So then my sound head goes in place. I've got everything set for what I want. I'm going to start my ultrasound first. And go up for my thermal. Let me know if you feel any warmth. Still not feeling any warmth?
What do
Okay,
you
I'm
own, Carla?
Pardon me?
What do you-
1.0.
Okay.
Okay, it's kind of a fleshy area. You know, if she feels some warmth, I can turn it down. Okay, I'm going to start turning on the E stem, and you're going to feel a buzz first coming out of the sound head. And when I go over the spasm or the trigger point, it's going to make it contract. So it may make your head turn a little bit. It may raise your shoulder. Okay, just try to relax. So I go. Just got to turn my intensity down all the way. Go. There's your spasm.
Oh my gosh.
Is that uncomfortable? And I want to pretty well stay there if it's not uncomfortable for her. What I don't want to do is go, woohoo, woohoo, you know.
Oh, that's funny.
So when you get to the point of fatigue, will that shoulder just drop down and that's
It
when
won't
you
go as
go
much, you're
relax
right.
more?
So I don't have to guess. Where's the motor point of that muscle? It finds it in a heartbeat.
Is it continuous, I guess? I mean, almost,
It
there's
is.
no on
It's
or off. Or,
acting like it's not continuous because I'm going on and off the spasm.
I feel helpless.
That's why my husband doesn't like it. He's like, this is jerking knot in me. But I'm like, oh, yeah, right there. Yeah, yeah. It hurts so good. Leave it there, leave it there, leave it there. Okay? And so you just do that for the whole time. Now this is going to keep going, but as soon as my ultrasound time clicks out, nothing else is going. So then I just turn it off. Okay? So I'm going to hold. It would stop at the end, and I would finish up treatment or whatever. You want me to keep going? Oh, yeah, she's already been feeling it. And
You can
I
just stay there and then so you can take your first.
Turn it off. Down, turn it off. Wipe them. Let me get the gel before you come up. Okay, it's the same thought processing as if you were doing them separately. You just kind of get the benefit of both, but that ultrasound head lets you know in a heartbeat when you're on the right place.
I need that at home.
And then you can palpate, and is that any better? Now, of course, hers isn't because we just did it for 2 minutes, but, you know, it
Okay.
would be hopefully by the end of that time.
how long would you normally do that for?
Use your ultrasound time
5 minutes.
5
for
minutes.
every area, 2 to 3 times the size of the area.
Okay.
That's fine. And usually I strap that on, but if you can have some way to attach it without having to strap, that's okay too. But you could do a contusion in a muscle, you can do spasm, you could do a trigger point that's just pain sensitive, then you might not get the motor response, you would just be, oh yeah, that's it, from a sensory standpoint. Okay, so that's combo, or at least one example of it with the Mettler's ultrasound and E-stem. Okay, let's look at interferential then.